Something weird is definitely happening with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Fan Edition, and it really made me stop and wonder, how is Samsung pulling this off? The S25 FE isn't even supposed to launch until late 2025, yet we're already hearing whispers from solid sources that Samsung might swap its usual in-house Exynos chip for a MediaTek Dimensity 9400 this time around. Yeah, you heard that right. But wait, wasn't the plan for the S25 FE to run on the Exynos 2400E, basically the same chip powering last year's S24 FE? So why the sudden change? Let's break down what's going on and why it could be a game changer. Hey everyone, Sam here. If you're all about cutting-edge tech updates and want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe. I'm dropping fresh insights like this all the time. Alright, back to Samsung. Last year, Samsung hit a major snag producing enough Exynos 2500 chips for its flagship S25 series. Now that chip shortage might be spreading to the Fan Edition as well. Here's the twist. Samsung is actually prepping two Fan Edition phones this year, the Galaxy S25 FE and a Z Flip FE. Both reportedly plan to run on the Exynos 2400E, but if chip production can't meet the demand for both phones, Samsung might bring in MediaTek's Dimensity 9400 as a backup for the S25 FE. That's a huge deal because this Dimensity 9400 isn't just any chip, it's actually faster and more efficient than the Exynos 2400E. This would break Samsung's usual pattern because Fan Edition phones typically use a slower, more budget-friendly chip to create a clear performance gap between the FE and the main flagship series. Remember, the S25 flagship runs on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, a powerhouse chip that no Exynos has matched yet. But if the S25 FE ends up with the Dimensity 9400, it might actually outpace last year's Ultra model in raw performance. Crazy, right? But there's a catch. The Dimensity 9400 costs more than the Exynos 2400E, so Samsung will have to juggle keeping the phone affordable while offering this performance boost. Now let's talk design, because that's another exciting leak. Samsung's aiming to make the S25 FE thinner than last year's model. The previous S24 FE was about 8 mm thick, and the S25 FE might shave some millimeters off that. How? They're redesigning the motherboard and switching to a wider, flatter battery to save space. That should make the phone sleeker and more comfortable to hold. Definitely a plus for anyone who hates bulky phones. On the software front, here's some great news. Samsung has reportedly already started working on firmware for the US unlocked model of the S25 FE. That means it's gearing up to launch with Android 16 and One UI 8 right out of the box. For context, One UI 8 is the newest Samsung interface version, packed with smoother animations, faster overall performance, and some handy new features. Plus, the S25 FE is rumored to get a whopping 7 major Android updates. That's a massive win for anyone wanting a phone that stays fresh and secure for years, especially when many flagship phones haven't even gotten One UI 7 yet. So what does this all add up to? If Samsung really does swap to the Dimensity 9400 and keep the price competitive, the Galaxy S25 FE could be one of the most powerful mid-range phones we've seen in a long time. It could narrow the gap between mid-range and flagship phones more than ever before, giving users flagship-level speed and power without the flagship price tag. But why would Samsung risk switching to a MediaTek chip? Well, there's a strategic side here. Samsung prefers to use its own chips because it helps the company earn more money through Samsung Foundry, their chip manufacturing business. But if they can't produce enough Exynos chips, they have to choose between disappointing customers or finding a quality backup. The Dimensity 9400 might be the perfect solution, even if it cuts into profits a bit. The key question is, will Samsung raise the price of the S25 FE to cover that? So far, rumors say no, which would be fantastic news for buyers. We still don't have an official release date, but based on past patterns, expect the S25 FE to drop sometime this fall. And as always, Samsung fans and tech enthusiasts will be watching every move closely, because this phone could either be just another solid FE or a surprising powerhouse that shakes up the mid-range market. What do you think? Would you welcome a MediaTek-powered Samsung, or are you hoping Samsung sticks to its in-house chips? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more no-fluff tech updates, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with friends who need to know this. Sam here, signing off. Catch you in the next one.